Can cheap acoustic panels help improve the sound quality in my theater? Just recently, I bought some cheap acoustic panels on Amazon, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I mounted them and if it made any improvement in the acoustic quality of my theater. Let's get to it. I've been wanting to add some acoustic treatment to my ceiling, primarily in the front of my theater, back there. But like many of you watching right now, I'm on a budget. Oh, and before I forget, I want to start getting you guys involved more, so I'm going to be asking you a question every video, and since I typically post one video a week, we'll call it Query of the Week. This week's query is, are you using acoustic treatment in your theater? If so, what kind? Is it DIY? Or did you purchase from a professional, and how has it improved the sound quality in your theater? Right, so budget. Adding acoustic panels can get quite expensive. On my walls, I currently have two large 24x48 DIY acoustic panels, as well as different size acoustic panels and bass traps from a company called Acoustic. And the sound quality in my room is actually very good. I'm very happy with it. But I've never given any attention to my ceiling, which is one of the most important reflection points that one should address. And the reason is because budget. So I wanted to find a cheaper yet temporary solution to add some acoustic treatment to my ceiling until I can afford some higher quality acoustic panels in the future. So I went on Amazon and I found some cheap acoustic panels with decent reviews. Now I'm going to show you how I installed them, and I'm going to take some before and after measurements with an SPL meter, as well as some before and after with my Anthem MRX 720 receiver with Anthem Arc Genesis room correction software. And then in a following video, I'm going to tell you if I can tell the difference, as well as share the before and after results from my measurements. Now, when you get these acoustic panels, they're going to come vacuum sealed, and there's two ways that you can decompress these acoustic panels, and it comes with this little sheet that shows you how you can do that. There's two different ways, and on the front it's English and on the back it looks like it's Chinese. But the first way you can decompress these panels is to open the package and then take the acoustic panels out. You fully soak them in warm water for 1 minute, at least 1 minute, gently press it several times, and then you can wring it and then dry it. And you can dry it by either blow dryer or in your laundry dryer. And then you can install it on the ceiling with either some 3M spray glue or double-sided tape. Now, I have 18 of these things. I'm not about to take the time to put them in warm water and wring them, do all that stuff. So I did option 2. Option 2 is you open the package, you let the foam sit in a well-ventilated space for 48 to 72 hours, and then you can install them. So I've already been letting them decompress for about 48 hours. So I'm good to go, but just to let you know that you have two options to let them decompress. All right, so this is what the acoustic panels look like. Hopefully it'll focus. If not, sorry about that. But this is what the acoustic panels look like. They have this design on there, so it's not completely level on top, but you can mix and match them how you install them on the ceiling. It looks really cool. So it's foam. It's not anything expensive. So remember, this is a temporary solution. So I already have, like I mentioned before, I already have some professional made acoustic panels, as well as some pretty good DIY acoustic panels that I was able to make on my own. I know there's probably going to be some thoughts in the comments that, hey, this is cheap, like you shouldn't use that. And yes, if you absolutely have the funds to buy very good quality acoustic panels or diffusers or sound absorbers, absolutely go that route. But sometimes we don't have that option. Sometimes we're on a budget, and something is better than nothing. So I want to make this video because I want to improve the sound quality in my theater by addressing some reflection points on my ceiling. I've never put anything any type of acoustic treatments on my ceiling before, and I'm really curious to see if I can tell a difference or if I'm gonna have to just, save my money and go and buy something else that's more expensive. I do have plans to do that, but right now I'm on a budget, so I think these will actually do some good as opposed to just having nothing on the ceiling. So let's get over to the front of my theater so I can start installing these acoustic panels on the ceiling. All right, so there is a couple ways that you can go about mounting these as far as measuring. Now, I would encourage you to get a measuring tape because you're gonna need to measure the width of your room, and you're gonna need that because depending on how many acoustic panels you actually have, you're gonna need to do a little bit of math. So I have 18 of these things, and they're a foot long. It's a square, so it's gonna be the same length all around, so it's a foot long. So let's say I wanted to do 15, or let's say I wanted to do 3 rows of 5. So that's gonna be 5 feet wide. Now, the width of my theater room is right at 10 feet. I think it's like 10 feet 1 inch or something like that. So if I wanted to do 3 rows of 5, then that means I would have 5 feet left of my wall. So I would have 2.5 feet on each side. So you're gonna have to do some math. I'm gonna do a little bit of an easier route because I already have some acoustic panels up there. Acoustic panels are not really, it's a panel, but I don't think they really do anything. My goal was to go across because they're really flat, they're really thin, and I wanted to see if it helped with some of the reflections. But the adhesive that was on the back started coming off, and a couple of them actually fell down, so I didn't even bother with them. I need to take those down, but since they're already up there, I'm gonna use that as my guide. I'm just gonna put one of these and butt it up against the other one, and then I have these little thumbtacks or tacks that you use to like put paper on the wall or stick something on the wall. If you want to stick it on the wall, you don't want it to be permanent. So I'm just going to use that. I'm going to put one up on the ceiling, stick it up there so that it's in place, and then I'm going to go from there until I get as far back as I want on the ceiling, and then I'm going to start my first row. Now, what you can also do is you can also go straight up against the ceiling, like put one all the way up against the ceiling, put a thumbtack up there, and then use that as your guide, and then you can just do that all the way back whenever you want to start your actual row, and then from there you can just put the adhesive on the back. So I'm going to start that now. All right, so quick update, guys. A couple of the panels that I put on the ceiling, when I first put them up there, after a couple minutes, they started to fall. And it's not because they weren't sticking to the ceiling, but it's because they weren't sticking to the acoustic panel. I'm assuming gravity. The 3M tape is sticky enough to stick, but I think because of gravity, it's kind of pulling it down a little bit. And then also, the type of material is not the best to stick to. So what I had to do was, I had to use this Gorilla Glue, super glue, and I put just a little dab, like very small dab, in between the actual acoustic panel and the 3M tape strips. I don't have any more because I've already stuck them to the acoustic panels, so I can't actually show you, but all I did was just take a little dab, put it on here, on each corner, and also I had to put one in the middle too. If you don't put one on the middle, these things will sag and it will pull it down. So I put 5 3M strips on each corner and then one in the middle. And I put just a very small dab of this Gorilla Glue, super glue, in between the acoustic panel and the 3M strip tape. Don't put this on your ceiling. Don't put this in between the strip and the ceiling, because if you do that, if you ever need to take these down, you're going to pull that sheetrock right off. This stuff is very, very strong, and you only need a small dab. So I had to do that. Once I did that, they're sticking up there fine now. So I just wanted to let you know. And then I also didn't realize that I also ran out of the 3M strip. So what I had to do, thankfully, I had some of this 3M tape that I was able to use, and I did the same thing. I put a small dab of the super glue in between the acoustic panel and the tape. The only thing with this is it takes a lot longer because you have to cut it, and I don't know if you've ever tried to peel the little backing that comes on these things, but it's absolute pain. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to go to Home Depot, and I think I'm just gonna get some adhesive that you could put like on the wall or on the ceiling. That's supposed to work really well as well. So I just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know that you may run into that issue. If they start falling, you may have to, you know, put something else or use another method to make sure that they stick on the ceiling. Hey, what's up? You've made it this far in the video, so welcome to the channel and thank you for watching. If this is your first time visiting the channel and you're enjoying the content that I produce here, why don't you go ahead and do me a solid, hit the subscribe button, let your friends know about the channel, and hit the bell notification so you know when I post new content. And if you're enjoying this video, why don't you go ahead and hit the like button. It'll help the channel grow, and I would greatly appreciate it. All right, well, I guess that's it. I'll let you get back to the video. All right, so I just finished the first row. I decided to just go ahead and do a row of 6. So I'm gonna do 3 rows of 6. That's gonna give me 18 panels. So I'm not gonna bore you with watching me install all the panels. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off screen, and then I'm going to rerun my Anthem Arc Genesis calibration to calibrate the room with the panels installed on the ceiling. I've previously done that before, and I have those graphs and settings and stuff. So I'm gonna share that with you, all that stuff with you in a next video. So the next video is gonna be me sharing the results, probably after a couple weeks, to take some time to notice if there's any difference installing these cheap acoustic panels on my ceiling. All right guys, so I just realized that I didn't really show you how to install the acoustic panels to the ceiling. Now, honestly, I probably don't need to. I think this is super easy that you can figure out by yourself. It doesn't take very much. It's just applying some adhesive and sticking it to the ceiling and make sure everything's straight. But it is in the description, so I don't want to mislead you guys. Now, good thing is, I actually found, I didn't have to go to Home Depot because I forgot that I had some liquid nails that I had from when I was doing my flooring. Now, I was a little bit apprehensive whether I should use this on the ceiling, but I looked on the back and it says that you can use it on sheetrock and ceiling tiles. So I'm gonna use it and I think it'll be okay. So what I'm gonna do is, I wouldn't put like globs and globs and globs of this stuff on there, but you wanna put enough so that it's gonna stick. So I'm just going to put some of this on here. You wanna make sure that you get it in the corners as well as in the middle. So, and it doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be pretty at all. Don't waste your time trying to make this stuff look perfect. Okay, so there we go. Let me set this to the side. All right, so if you can see that, like I said, it doesn't look pretty at all, doesn't need to be. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you get enough so that the corners and the middle aren't going to sag down because it'll fall off. So the next, I'm going to get my step stool, and so I did, when you're installing these, you want to make sure that you go like in a crisscross, not crisscross, but you want to make sure that they aren't all facing the same way, and you'll see it when I go up there. But I'm going to take this and make sure that it's facing the other way. Okay, so I need to go like this, make sure that it's even with all the other ones. Okay, good. And then you want to press as hard as you can for
I don't know, 5, 10, 15, 20, maybe 30 seconds to make sure that it, you know, it adheres to the ceiling. Ooh, it's getting hot already doing this. But you just want to make sure that press it hard enough, because it's going to take a little bit for it to dry. So you just want to press it, make sure it's sticking, and it should stay after you press it enough. So, and I did that wrong. So if you can see, it's the same pattern. So I need to flip that. I messed that up. So I'm gonna turn that around, back around, and there we go. Okay, so I'm going to press that again, make sure it sticks. Whew, that is tiring. Okay, I think that's gonna stick pretty good. So it looks, you can see how it's coming along. I only have 3 panels left to do, and I like the way that it looks. So you can do whatever pattern that you want. If you want them all to be in the same direction, it's gonna look a little bit weird, but that's basically how you install it. It's not very hard. Sorry, I didn't have any of the 3M strip tapes to show you guys, but actually this is probably going to be the easiest part, because as you saw, I messed up and I can just pull it down real quick. It hasn't dried, and I can rearrange it and just stick it back up, as opposed to having the 3M strip, you know, which is probably gonna, I mean, it's gonna peel a little bit of the surface layer of the sheetrock, but it's not gonna damage it. You can paint over it. So that is how you install those. And actually I have one that's sagging that I need to fix. So that is how you install those. And again, I'll be sharing my results with you guys in the next video after I run Anthem Arc. It's been a couple weeks just listening to, you know, movies, TV shows, TV shows, and music to see if I hear a difference. I'll probably listen to it without Arc first to see if I can actually hear a difference. And then once I run Arc, because anytime you add any type of acoustic panels or anything, you always want to rerun your Anthem Arc or whatever room calibration software that you have on your receiver, because it's going to change. So I'm going to do an A/B comparison, and I'll let you guys know in the next video.
All right, well, this was a fun video installing those acoustic panels on my ceiling. Now, if you want to see part 2 of this video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on whether I saw an improvement installing those acoustic panels, those cheap acoustic panels on my ceiling. And I'm also going to be sharing the results of my Anthem Arc Genesis room calibration software. So if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss that video. Hit the bell notification so you know when that video drops. And if you enjoyed this video, why don't you go ahead and hit the like button, as it'll really help out the channel. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. I'm Haterade Cowboy, and this is Haterade Cowboy Cinema.